Welcome back to part 2 of our interview with Marsha Posner Williams. If you want to start with part 1, go back to the previous episode and take a listen, or you can start right here because every story is amazing. All right. So they meet your conditions.
Right. And so I came back. Hail to the Chief was just like soap. Tons and tons of characters, continuing story, 7 of the funniest episodes I've ever worked on.
So 1985, also created by Susan Harris, Patty Duke, Ted Bessel, Quinn Cummings.
Correct. Murray Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the soap at the White House with a female president.
Correct.
And she becomes president sort of because the president.
I don't even remember how
it
wasn't important.
Yeah.
It was just that she was the president. Her husband was a philanderer. But I will tell you, when we went to shoot the first episode, the executive in charge of production named Harry, he came into me right before we were going to shoot it. And he said, we've got a problem. We're going to start shooting in like half an hour. And there are like 6 or 8 nuns in full habit sitting in the front row or the big front of the audience. You got to go tell them that they probably want to leave. I said, not my job. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So he had to go talk to them and say, we're not sure that you know exactly what this show is. And we want to give you a chance to leave now before you are just embarrassed. And, anyway, they left. And the first scene of the show took place in like the Lincoln bedroom, something like that. And it opens up and you see the bed and there's obviously somebody under the covers, bodies rolling around, right? And then a guy pops his head up who was a young Latino guy, all disheveled. And then Quinn Cummings, playing the daughter, she pops up and she's completely disheveled. And he says, so how was it? And she says, well, it was everything I had hoped it would be. It was everything I had dreamed it would be, only faster. And that's how it started. So it's a good thing they weren't there. And we went off from there.
I'm kind of thinking one of those nuns snuck back in. But it took up the habit and snuck back in. But that's
right. It was...
Marsha,
yes.
Did they want you to talk to the nuns because you were a woman and they thought it might come, and men just didn't want to deal with it? Or
They wanted me to deal with it. I said, no, I'm a Jew. I'm not going to deal with it. No. No, I don't. No.
And so was there any controversy around Hail to the Chief?
No. Not that I recall.
Yeah.
I mean, Ted was a philanderer, as I said, but it wasn't as bad, quote unquote, as soap.
Do you know the story of how that show came about? Because I'm fascinated because it was female-driven.
Yes, correct.
Patty Duke and female president. Maybe
that would never happen.
Yeah, well, clearly still not ready for that.
Don't blame me. I voted for her. So, yeah. No, I don't, because I was doing night court at the time, so I wasn't privy to that.
How did it feel working on a show with Ted Bessel, since that girl was so important to you when you were growing up? How was that?
It was wonderful. I mean, full circle, right? It was absolutely joyful. I love the whole cast. Who was it that played the dual role? I'll think of it later. He was in It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, and he was so funny in that show. Remember that movie? It was so great. Mm-hmm. And he played the mother. He played the son of I'm coming, Mama, I'm coming, Mama. I highly recommend you watch that show. That movie. It's a movie.
That movie is
it's
very
iconic.
Funny. Yes.
Iconic.
Yeah. Richard quotes that movie. My husband quotes that movie a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I remember the big W. That's the thing for me that always.
And guess what? That W I'm going to see next month because it's on the island of Kauai at the Waio High.
Oh.
And they have a big W in palm trees.
Yeah, I'm going to Oahu next month.
Okay. Then you'll see a big O. Oh, okay.
Herschel Bernardi?
Herschel Bernardi but then I can see his face. He died, in real life, he died doing his one-man show on stage.
Oh.
Who else is in the cast?
Dick Shawn?
Dick Shawn. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he was amazing. So insecure, but so amazing. So funny.
A lot of actors are insecure.
Yeah. Yes, they are.
So you're wrapping up Hail to the Chief, and you're saying it was always intended to just be 7 episodes.
No.
No. It was
no.
supposed to be. It was supposed to go on.
Yes, but it was extremely. ABC advertised that show as the show that would offend everybody. 7 of the funniest episodes I've ever seen. And there were a lot of controversial things in it, but hilarious. I mean,
yeah.
If we just stop taking each other so seriously, this could be really funny. So anyway, but it was while I was doing Hail to the Chief when they started casting the Golden Girls. So that's how that transition happened.
Okay.
Hail to the Chief went down, and immediately the Golden Girls was in my lap. So that's how that happened.
And did you have any conditions for going on the Golden Girls?
No, one of the 5 conditions was I'm not coming back to do 7 episodes because I could do 22 with Night Court. So pay me for 52 weeks, even if everything gets canceled, or I'm not interested. So fortunately for them, one show led right into the next.
Well, they had enough shows going. You got to keep all those shows going. So Golden Girls.
Yes, I've heard of it.
So when did you come on to Golden Girls then?
Well, we did the reshoot of the pilot without Coco.
Okay. All right. So can you talk about that? So they shoot a pilot with Coco.
Right.
Then they realize that Estelle Getty basically is going to become a more...
Yeah, she was supposed to be just a guest star.
Yeah.
Right. And she was so strong that Jay Sandrich and they all just agreed better with just the 4 of them. They don't need the 5th guy. I've never felt sorry for an actor in my life, but that guy, because it wasn't his fault.
Yeah, he didn't do anything wrong.
He didn't do anything wrong. And I've done pilots with actors who got fired after day 3 as the lead. I mean, that's terrible, but that's because they weren't good enough. I mean, remember, when you cast somebody, you could cast them right here in this office and you think they're fabulous. But when you put them on a 14,000 square foot stage with 4 cameras in their face, they may turn into this whole other person and be scared or whatever, and it doesn't work. And you never see the person you saw here on that stage. And that I've seen that happen a few times.
But he did a great job.
Charles Levin.
Charles Levin. Yes, thank you. Playing Coco, the gay housekeeper, houseboy.
Houseboy, yeah.
And
wasn't his fault.
Yeah, because they basically were just like, oh no, we can. There's rumor that he was even added because they were a little worried about an all-female show.
Don't know that.
Okay,
I wasn't there.
You weren't there for that.
No.
You weren't there for that.
No.
I also found out we just covered Facts of Life, and I didn't realize Facts of Life was moved to Saturday night and became the lead-in for the opening of the Golden Girls.
Really? And do you know about the actual opening of the show, the main title opening of the show?
I heard that you might have had something to do with it. The iconic theme song, I do want to ask you about Cindy Cindy Fee.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to know about the theme song and the opening credit.
Yeah. So I was there when she sang the song. I was in the studio. She did it in one take. And after one take, she said, okay, you got it. And Tony said, no, you got to do it again. We need at least 2. I mean, I understand that. You always, because you never know, right? You have to have at least 2. But she did it in one take. And good for her, because she put her children through college on that one song, right?
Yeah.
Good for her. So we were about 4 episodes in, but not on the air yet. And Tony said to me one day, we've been taking these meetings with main title companies who are pitching all kinds of things, flying the ladies to Miami and blah, 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 all this. He said, nothing, and $25,000, $30,000, $40,000 to do a main title for, he said, nothing's tweaking our propellers, nothing at all. And I said, well, we know what the song is, obviously. Let me take the raw footage of 4 episodes and go into an edit bay for a day. And let me just, screw around with it. He said, yeah, go. And, I'm not an editor, but I know music and I know, and I like picking clips because I did it on soap all the time. And frame for frame, what I came out with has been on the air for 40 years at a cost of about $2,500.
Did you get to pocket the rest of it? Because
I wish.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That is, and because you know television by this point, you knew what you were doing.
But also remember, And Tony was very right about this. A main title doesn't sell a show. And especially nowadays, you watch it once and then it's skip intro, right? But that is the only thing that gets me truly emotional about that show. If I see that main title, I think about all that went into it, and the story behind it is remarkable.
That is remarkable.
I was going to ask, do you know how they picked the song? Or how that song, because I believe it was a hit song before, or did it become a hit song afterwards?
It was a hit song before. What's his name recorded it? I'd know it if you told me, but I don't recall right now.
It's not Harry Nilsson, is it?
No.
Okay.
No. And I have to tell you a funny aside story. A couple of years ago, my husband and I went to Chicago because you know what the second city is, right? Okay, well, I was their guest speaker, and it was a really phenomenal experience for me to be able to do that. And we said, oh, we're going to go to Chicago. Let's see if the Cubbies are playing, Chicago Cubs. So they were. We got great seats, and we're sitting there before the game started and talking to a couple guys sitting to the left of my husband, who's sitting to the left of me, okay? And they're playing music over the speakers, and all of a sudden, what starts to play, not the Cindy Fee version, but the song, Thank You for Being a Friend. And my husband turns to these two guys and says, do you know what that song is? And the guy said, oh yeah, that's a theme from the Golden Girls. And my husband points to me and says, my wife produced the first 3 seasons of the Golden Girls. And the guy's eyes popped out of his head, and he leaned across my husband and said to me, you know, you're a gay icon, right? And I said, yes, and I wear the title proudly. Is that funny?
That is.
It wasn't even the Cindy Fee. It was not even words. It was just the melody was playing. Isn't that funny?
And it was written and recorded by Andrew Gold.
That's right, Andrew Gold.
Andrew Gold.
Yes.
That is amazing. That song is amazing. That opening credit sequence. And as a person who grew up in the 80s, the opening credit sequence were important because they carry a lot of resonance now, right? And I think Sharon and I talk about missing them a little bit. Like, I like that the Game of Thrones had an opening credit sequence and music that became iconic to it. I kind of miss them, and I definitely miss the songs. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to have her on. I'm very excited about those songs and those songwriters and song singers.
Great.
Cool. All right. So you're coming on Golden Girls. You fixed the opening credits. You saved them $22,000. It sounds like this was a hit almost from the first taping. Like you knew it was resonating with audiences.
It was. There was nothing like it on TV. And as soon as it hit the airwaves, you never know. It doesn't matter what the ratings are in the first week. It does not matter, right? Because everyone tunes in to see what it is. Week 3 is what tells you if the show's going to be a hit or not. Okay? Make sense?
Yeah.
So we knew by the end of the 3rd, 4th week that something crazy was happening because there was a lot of press starting to happen. The ladies were so iconic, the 3 especially. Estelle came from just off of Broadway, so nobody really knew her. But I said to Estelle, don't you? Because the other ladies were getting more publicity than her, and she voiced it to me one day. I said, Estelle, be patient. You just wait. It's all going to happen for you. I guarantee it. Just be patient. And that's what happened.
Yeah, she became as iconic as the other
Completely,
3 who had been on television for
forever. Yeah. And to this day, people still don't know that she was the second youngest of them all. Which is funny.
The ages and the whole age thing is very insane, right?
Well, we had a $4,000 human hair wig on our head. So that helped a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope somebody treated that preciously.
Yeah. It was very unfortunate that she passed away of Alzheimer's, and we didn't know back in those days, the mid-'80s, what was dementia, what was Alzheimer's. But she had a lot of trouble, and it's not a secret. She had a lot of trouble remembering her lines, and her lines were written all over that set. all over that set. Every cupboard, every table, everything had her lines on it.
Were they written on her hand? That's what I heard?
That's we had to give her that note to wash your hands, because when we did the early show, we taped every show twice, 5 o'clock and 7:30.
And you taped both shows with an audience?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we'd edit the best of both together. So we had to tell her to wash her hands because she made a gesture and we saw the line written on her hand. Like, excuse me, that's not going to work. So, yeah.
That must have been very hard. That's hard when another cast member isn't able to do that. That's hard on the other cast members. It's hard in a sitcom when you're moving so quickly.
Right. But by the time I left, we were doing cue cards for her.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did it cause attention or were people understanding?
Well, the ladies were so professional. I mean, we know the controversy between Bea and Betty.
Yeah, I do want to ask you about that.
But it was tough because we didn't know what it was. And we'd be at a reading on a Monday. We don't shoot it till Friday. I remember specifically what the line even was. And the table reads were so much fun because the scripts were so good, especially in those early days, right? And Estelle just stops the reading and says, "I'll never remember that line." And the director says, "It's so funny, Estelle. It's not going to change for 5 days." No, but that's how difficult it was.
It was difficult.
It was sad, yeah. But she was a trooper, boy, and she pulled it off for 7 years, right?
Well, which is, when you think coming from the theater, you can memorize anything, but you're not doing different shows.
That's right. That's why it was so much easier doing theaters, the same lines every day for
you lock
months
it in
and years. Exactly. Sure.
Can I ask a question about the wig?
Yes.
Do you remember, did Jose Normand do the wig?
I have no clue. That's all the hairdresser. Ask Joyce Melton. Yeah.
Oh, Joyce was okay. So it wasn't Jose.
No.
I did.
Yeah, Joyce Melton was the head hairdresser.
Thank you.
Yes. On soap too.
Okay. And then so it was it is sort of famous that Bea Arthur did not really like Betty+white.
Well, let me put it to you this way. Those two couldn't warm up to each other if they were cremated together. Does that kind of tell it to you in a sentence?
And was it just the personality? Could it have been resolved?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. But remember, they were so professional that the second that red light went on, they were the consummate professionals. Bea came from the theater. Bea was a theatrical actress, despite all the success she had on TV, which we know was a lot, right? Bea, don't forget, was a Marine. She drove trucks in the Marines, and she was a tough broad, right? So when we would do in front of an audience, we would shoot a scene, and then, okay, moving on, and they would go to do a wardrobe change or just move to the next set. Betty would sometimes break character and go talk to the audience, and Bea hated that. Hated that.
Because theater, that's not allowed.
You don't do that. You don't. It breaks the rhythm to her.
Yeah.
It's kind of, And okay, I get that. But again, I'll tell you, my husband shot some very iconic pictures of the ladies. And I don't know if you remember in your research, if you found that the old show, This Is Your Life with Ralph Edwards, did a surprise to Betty+white. Okay. This Is Your Life, Betty+white. And when that show contacted us about doing that, we then went to the ladies, except for Betty, of course, to say, will you help us pull off the surprise? And of course, Estelle said yes, and Ruth said yes, and Bea said, not a chance. Not going to do it. So the executives went to my husband and said, Wayne, please talk her into it. Make it so it's a photo shoot, something really fast, and you'll be there because she loves you. And so Wayne is the one that got it to happen. And so during this quote unquote fake photo shoot, all of a sudden Ralph Edwards walks in and he has the perfect shot right when Betty was surprised, which I'll show you later.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right. So he's kind of the Bea whisperer.
Yes, he was. Yes. Yeah. She actually called the house one day and said, Wayne, I just bought a brand new BMW and the cassette player doesn't work. I need you to come over to my house. She doesn't live anywhere near us, but he went to her house. He said, okay, Bea, what's the problem? And my husband is a tech genius. Okay. So we sat in their car. She said, okay, here's the cassette. She puts it in. She said, it doesn't play. He said, okay, let's turn the car on. And she gave him the B. Arthur look. And he said, should I leave now? Yes, get out of my car. Yeah.
That look.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, we know that look very well.
How did Rue McClanahan navigate the tension between the other Betty and Dee? Easily.
Mm-hmm. It was easy, really, because it wasn't terribly blatant. Sometimes it got out of control. The script supervisor could tell you more about that than me because she was on stage the whole 7 years with the wonderful ladies. And I hear things secondhand sometimes, but it was fine. That lasted 7 years, but it's because Bede said no way to an 8th year. It was because of that the show did not come back for an 8th year. The other 3 said yes. Well, let's keep going. And Bede said, no chance.
She was done.
And that's when Golden Palace was born, which we know what happened there.
Yeah. Now, were you part of Golden Palace? No.
I was gone because I was gone.
You were gone.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because I'm wondering if you ever worked with 2 male actors who kind of didn't like each other.
Oh, that's an interesting question. I don't think so.
No. There was never tension on set between 2 male actors that you were of shows you were on.
No, I don't think so. I no.
Okay. Oh, I think did you just think of something?
I thought of a great story out of the show I did with Danny Thomas called One Big Family, but it wasn't tension, but we had an actor on the show who would throw tantrums once in a while and what happened on a particular day that it's quite the story. It's a great story. You'd have to probably edit it out, but it's a great story.
You better tell us off the air because
I will make a note. Yeah. Just say One Big Family.
One Big Family.
Yeah. It's a great story. It's a great Marsha story.
Listeners, I have a whole list of things to ask later. I'm sorry we can't include you.
Yeah, right.
But I there's so much. I asked that question because we hear a lot about the ladies of the 80s and their relationships. And I sometimes think that women are judged more harshly for their behavior or them being, quote unquote, difficult on set than men are.
Well, in front of the camera, behind the camera.
Yeah.
I mean, you could ask me if I ever been a victim of a Me Too movement experience. And I would say to you, I've never been a victim of anything. I've had those experiences. But you already know me for 10 minutes. I can handle myself, right?
Yeah.
And I have had those experiences that I would say most women would have not been able to handle the way I did because I got a mouth on me and a brilliant sense of humor, I think, right when I need it. And so, yeah, that's stories for off. Yeah.
We're going to
make a note. Yeah, right. Me too. Just write me too. Because the stories are quite remarkable of these guys who try to pull something off and I stop them in their tracks in the best way. Yes.
It's hard to believe that there haven't been instances across the depth and breadth of Hollywood where male co-stars did not get along, but there doesn't seem to have been the same expectation for them to get along in the same way it is for women. You've got 4 women on the show. Supposedly they're best friends in real life, just as they are on the show, even though they're acting, it's their job to pretend to be best friends on the show. And when men are on shows and they're supposed to be best friends and maybe they get along, maybe they don't, doesn't seem to be the same expectation that they're also, fast friends and seeing each other and, running around together as friends outside of when they're not working. But we'll just chalk it up to everything else, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. How we navigate those things, right?
Do you think it was more difficult for you to rise up in the ranks of producer or break in? And we talked about that a little bit because you were a woman.
Looks like we have to take a break. We'll be right back. We want to make sure when we're recommending products that it's something we like. And that's exactly what Cozy Earth is all about. They've been on Oprah's favorite things list for years. We're talking about buttery soft bamboo sheets and amazing pajamas. And we can offer you the best discount, 41% off. It's the ultimate in luxury sleep. Go to 80s TV Ladies, my deals link in the show notes to see all our ATL deals. Use promo code 80s TV Ladies. That's 80STVLADIES.
And we're back.
You know, I never, ever thought about it that way because I just looked at it as I'm going to do the best I can and what happens, happens. And that's all I focused on was just be really good at what I did with the greatest attitude ever and no negativity ever, unless it was with my door closed to myself with a bottle of booze, you know, but I never thought of it that way. And it was only until those little Me Too movement things happened that I thought, oh my goodness, look at these guys thinking they're all that, but they're not, which made me laugh.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Now, did you work on any of the Golden Girls international versions?
I was gone.
You were gone. Okay.
I was
So
gone.
you left Golden Girls.
Yes.
And you went.
Let's see. I did a show I started working at, what show did I do at Paramount with? Oh, yes, I did Amen.
Oh, yes. Yes. With Sherman Hemsley.
Yes. Oh,
okay.
Yes, I loved Sherman. I loved that cast. But I can tell you, here we go again. I did the third season of that show. I started at the very beginning of the third season. I was the fifth producer in the job because the executive producer was such a piece of work and had quite the reputation that the girl who had the job, 2 producers before me, left with a bleeding ulcer and her hair was falling out because she didn't know how to handle this guy.
Wow.
He was the walking reason for twin beds. Okay, that's what But
you found a way.
Yes. And I will tell you one great story about this guy that we were in a camera blocking run through. Okay. So we're in the booth, the cameras are there, and he used to pace back and forth behind the director. And it was terrible that he did that.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in the row right behind them. Okay. So you picture that. The front row, he's pacing between us, right? So they're doing the rehearsal. An actor misses a line, flubs a line, and he takes his script and goes, God damn it, and hits me right on my hand. And I yelped. And he never said a word to me. The next day, tape day, the front row is there. Nobody else is there, but the front row is getting ready for rehearsal before the audience comes in. I walk in. They all look at me and they said, Marsha, please don't do it. He's going to fire you. Please, we love having you here. Everybody loves you. Please don't do this. He's going to fire you. And I had a pay or play deal, so I didn't care. I mean, you fire me after day 1, you got to pay me for 22 episodes, right? So I said, look, a girl's got to do what a girl's got to do. And I took my place and I sat down and in he walks. And he comes over and he says to me, what are you doing? And I said, well, yesterday you hit me and you hurt me. So today I'm ready. Take your best shot. And I was sitting there in a full catcher's outfit. And he didn't talk to me the rest of the day. But he didn't fire me. So girls got to do what a girl's got to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was, I saw him, put his fist in the wall, kick a table, chase a runner down the stairs, throwing things out, yeah. It takes all kinds, right?
Yeah. But,
yeah, but
that behavior, I don't know. Brilliance is no excuse for bad behavior.
No,
as far as I'm concerned.
Right. And I will tell you that he co-created The Cosby Show. He was making so much money when I was working with him, so much money. But I heard, and I'm pretty sure it's true, that after they shot the pilot of Cosby, Cosby went to NBC and said, either he goes or I go. So the guy had a reputation. I'm not talking out of turn. The guy had I was the 5th person? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So
But you stayed on Amen
just for a season.
Just for a season. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah, I
right.
could only take one season. I said, okay. Think of it like a kidney stone. It'll pass. It'll pass. Every day I'd say that. It'll be painful, but it'll pass. So after 22, I said, I'm out.
Now, you worked briefly,
What
at
I
least
did.
according to IMDb,
What I do.
on It's a Living.
I did the pilot.
You did the pilot.
Yeah.
Okay, we've talked about It's a Living on this show. We had
Yeah.
on
And Jillian?
no.
Close.
We were
Very
close.
Close.
She was going to, then she said no. You know, there's a number of women that we get to, and then they get nervous. And they start to say, well, I don't want to talk. And I think I think that sometimes women are more afraid to tell their story, and it's just easier to not.
I don't have that problem.
No, you do not. I
Thank
appreciate
goodness you
that
don't.
so much. We talked to Paul Kreppel because
Oh, yes.
every guy
Yes.
will come on our show.
Yes. Paul
Yeah,
is a
the men
funny
have
guy.
no problem.
He's
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
He was delightful and
And he
very
talked
funny.
about working with Jay Johnson.
Yes.
And winning a Tony on Broadway, right?
Yes,
For
yes,
that
he
show,
did. Yes,
which is an astonishing show that Jay
Yeah.
does. Astonishing. I've seen it 5 times.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's
I
amazing.
have not seen it, but I did hear about it. How was that? How was that working on the pilot of this show?
It was great.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was fun. No, and I'm kind of glad I didn't do this series because I was doing other stuff,
Okay.
which I don't remember at this time. But I did after Amen. Then I started working at that was at Paramount. Then I started working at 20th Century Fox, and I did a lot of stuff there for like 7 or 8 years before then I did a pilot for CBS, and then I got out.
And what made you decide I'm done?
I wasn't having fun anymore.
Mm.
I'd already done close to 400 episodes, and I remember saying to Wayne, look, I know you're an artist and that's a tough life and everything, but we're going to pay off our house. I'm out. I just wasn't having any fun anymore. So I've been retired for like 22 years.
But it sounds like you've been keeping busy.
I'm very busy. Yeah, because I do college lectures, and that's the joy of my life, which I know is the thing you were going to talk about.
Yeah.
That's the joy. Yeah.
So that's what's giving you joy is
Yeah.
college lectures.
Yes. Yeah.
And do you talk about different things? Do you have a sort of a set thing that you talk
It's
about?
always the kids who want to get in the business. And because of my story of coming from nothing, right, and
Mhm.
all that, which you've heard, they realize what's possible. Because I'm not preaching from a book. I pull no punches. I swear like a sailor, and I bring my sense of humor, as you know. And inevitably, there's one person in every class who says to me, "You just changed my life," because I give them, I tell them, despite everything, I'm the most encouraging and inspiring and motivating person they've ever met in their life because I went through it. Okay. And the first thing I always ask them is, how many of you have parents who don't want you to get in this business? And half the hands go up. Right. And then I tell them how to think about that, what to think about that while I'm swearing along the way. And it changes their life. Because then they think, now it's almost like giving them permission to think a different way.
to have
Even
a dream. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I said, dreams have no deadlines. Okay. That's a quote from LL Cool J. I'll give him credit for that. It's a great quote. But again, as I said to you at the beginning, when I say to them, do you want to go through life wondering what if? It's not going to feel very good. So why? And you can't fail ever unless you never try in the first place. If you try and it doesn't work out, that's called it just doesn't work out. Even if it's a relationship, you try it. If it doesn't work out, that's not a failure. Take that word out of your life. It just doesn't work out. It just doesn't work out. But you can say, I tried. That's a badge of honor. I tried. That's the way I look at it. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
I love that. So what has changed your life?
What has changed my life? Well,
Which moment was it that made you go?
Well, it was when I got the call from MGM and I said, Dad, I've made it. $200 a week plus overtime. My life just changed. That's truly remarkable because it was the start of the trajectory.
Yeah.
But I wonder
No
if
doubt.
I wonder if it actually might be the second time you came to LA and you stuck it out for 2 years before you got that call from MGM. Because if you had called it quits at that point, there would have been no call.
Of course. Of course. Yes, that's true. Very true. Those were interesting days for sure. Going to a pawn shop. Oh my goodness. That was humiliating. But I did it.
But you did it.
Yeah.
And you got through.
I got through. Right.
Are you still in touch with people? Who are you still in touch with?
Well, I just got a call from Tony Thomas the other day, who I had spoken to once in 40 years, because Disney and ABC News are going to do a special for the 40th anniversary of the show this year.
For
The Golden Girls.
Golden Girls. Okay.
Believe it or not. 40,
Wow.
40
years.
Like, how is that possible? I think I'm only 25. It's just, my body thinks I'm a fucking idiot. So there it is. You can bleep that out. Like, where did the time go? It's difficult.
For you, as you look back on all the things you've done and all the things you've seen and people you've met, what for you are the highlights of your career and the things you're able to accomplish in your career?
Well, everything that I've done in this business to me is an accomplishment. Everything. For me, how great is it to get a call from a studio that says so-and-so producer has requested you? Come on. That's a big deal. And that happened a few times. That was a very big deal for me. Like, oh, I didn't have to go searching for anything. I just got that call. That's really great. Getting married, that's a huge thing. To somebody that in this business, to still be married to 41 years later is quite remarkable, considering I used to be the queen of the one-night stand back in the day, when the most used word in my vocabulary was next. So, what can I say? It was the 70s. So, yeah, I consider waking up every day an accomplishment these days. I mean, every day above ground is an accomplishment. It's not our abilities that show who we are. It's our choices that show who we are, right? Mm. So you can be the greatest writer or the greatest producer, but if you choose to be an asshole, I have no respect for you because you made that choice, right?
Right.
So I just every day is to me is just an amazing day, and I look back on my career, which I now say is like World War II. It's history. But it's still, I not only achieved what my original goal was, which was to work in this business, I actually overachieved. How often does that happen? My dad used to say to me, I'm becoming known as your father. Like, does it get better than that? It doesn't. It doesn't. And my sister became a judge at 25. So,
wow.
We were, considering we both lost our mother at an early age, I'm so proud of the two of us for doing what we did in life. It's pretty remarkable.
Indeed.
So I'm grateful every day. Also, that I married a man who thinks I'm the funniest person on the planet. So that helps a lot.
That does help.
Yes.
Is there anything you miss about not working in Hollywood anymore?
Not a nanosecond do I miss that business.
What? How does it feel to win an Emmy and Golden Globe?
Well, did I just talk about overachieving?
Do you have one in your house?
I have 2 Emmys in my house.
And where do they sit?
On the mantle.
They sit on the mantle?
Because when I have young people come over and they see the reality of that, and I always say, do you want to take a picture with it? And they always say yes. It gives them a whole new push. Because now they know what's possible. And when I do college lectures locally, like I would never speak at USC or UCLA because my own story of struggle doesn't apply to that. But for example, I go to Stockton, California. They have a community college there that's about 25,000 strong. Okay. A lot of the kids in the media department come from nothing. And they have the most brilliant professor who is the most amazing woman I've ever met in my life. She's originally from Costa Rica. And the way she teaches and the fact of how inclusive and all of that she is of everybody. Well, I've spoken to that class 13 times. At the end, we have a routine. The last thing I say in my lectures, I say, here's the last thing I want to say to you before I go. I'm not going to tell you it's going to be easy, but I will tell you it'll be worth it. And out comes the Emmy, and they all go out of their minds. And then they line up wanting to have a picture taken with it. And I let each one of them hold it, and they feel what they get energy from it.
Because it's got a weight.
Oh, it's very heavy.
They're very heavy.
But how fantastic is that to see their faces light up with such joy of what's possible? Because that's what I always tell them. Don't let people tell you it's not possible. Don't let somebody who probably gave up on their dreams talk you out of yours. Don't do that. This is your choice. Don't let somebody take your power away from you. Why would you do that? Why? And then they get very empowered by that. It takes that outside voice to tell you something sometimes, right?
Yes.
If your parents are telling you something, your siblings are telling you, your best friends, but somebody completely unknown tells you something like that, boom, a light goes off.
Yeah.
It's joyful.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How did you get started doing lectures or speaking to students? How did that come about?
It started a really long time ago when I was a script supervisor, believe it or not, on soap. And I went to Chico State and talked to 120 kids. And it just started. And what I love telling them too is I started as the secretary, right? As an example, remember I was a script supervisor on soap and then I got kicked upstairs. The girl who replaced me as a script supervisor was also the script supervisor when I went to night court. And during that year or season on night court, she used to say to me, I just want to write comedy scripts. And I would encourage her. Well, guess what? That young girl went on to become the co-executive producer of 2.5 Men. Okay. So there's so many stories like that. It's not just me. And I tell them, whether it's a music department, one of my roommates, right, who took me in when I was homeless, he came here from Texas because he wanted to be a singing star. He went on to score every note of music for Saved by the Bell. I mean, it happens. When you're good at what you do, it happens. So
And committed. That's amazing.
Yeah, commitment.
Wow. All right. Well, this has been fantastic.
I'm so glad. I've had a good time.
Us too.
Yeah,
We have had a blast. And
Yeah.
Sharon, it's almost like you were here, right?
Yes. It was joyful.
I
Thank
so wish
you.
I was, but yeah, we cannot thank you enough for sharing your
Aw.
stories with us. It really means a lot. It'll mean a lot to our audience, but my goodness, it means a lot to us too to hear.
I'm so glad.
about your
I'm so
story.
glad. But it gives me such joy to be here and to let other people in on how I think and stuff. And because if it affects one person, yay,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And plus, I just love telling the stories, some of which we're not going to tell till we're off the air.
Okay.
But, you know,
Don't worry. Sharon and I will get them, and then we
Good.
won't be able to tell you, listeners.
right.
But we'll enjoy them.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right. We have to let you go,
Okay.
but don't worry. We're going to keep talking to her
Good.
and get all the
Good.
stories.
Thank you, everybody, for
Thank
listening.
For our audiography today, you can currently watch Golden Girls on Hulu and Disney+, and it's available for purchase on Apple TV and Prime Video.
And for those who are sick of streaming apps moving everything around, the DVDs might be available at your local library. So do check it out. Or you can find box sets on DVD at eBay.
I'm recommending this short but very interesting TV milestone series book, The Golden Girls by Kate Brown. And you can check out a book on Soap, the unauthorized inside story of the sitcom that broke all the rules by A.S. Berman. Links will be in our description. Okay, 80s TV ladies, let's talk about night sweats. It's not glamorous, but it's real, and it's happening to me. My absolute lifesaver, Cozy Earth's bamboo sheets. They're cooling and moisture wicking, so I can finally sleep soundly without overheating and wetting up everything. They are worth the hype. Visit CozyEarth.com and use our exclusive 80s TV Ladies 41% off code. 41%. And that code is 80s TV Ladies.
So, listeners, as we've mentioned before, we really appreciate your feedback. So, if you like our show, please make sure to leave us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever platform you use. Our website is 80stvladies.com. We'd love to hear from you.
We are coming up on our 100th episode of 80s TV Ladies. I can't believe it. Sharon and Melissa, what should we do to celebrate?
I think we definitely need to pop some champagne.
Yeah.
Maybe a big cake.
A big cake. I like that. What else?
Well, what about you? What do you think we should do?
I would love to do, I was thinking that we might do a crazy Love Boat cruise episode where we just pretend we're on the Love Boat and talk about something, our 100th episode. I don't know. I haven't figured it out.
Well, listeners, if you have any ideas, we would love to hear them. So send us a message at 80stvladies@gmail.com or through our website, 80stvladies.com.
How should we celebrate 100 episodes? Let us know.
And as always, when we travel down this road and back again, we hope 80s TV Ladies brings you joy and laughter and lots of fabulous new and old shows to watch, all of which will bring us closer to being amazing ladies of the 21st century.